Thanks for tuning in. This is Sweet Cyclist. Today we're going to be reviewing the Magicshine Seemee 200 rear bike taillight. So here we have Magicshine's latest Seemee 200 rear bike taillight. This is part of their expanded Seemee taillight line, and we're excited here to see an early release of it. Because of that, we don't actually have the original packaging, but I'll show a picture here on the right side. As you can see, it's consistent with their current product lines, uses really bright graphics and minimal packaging. You also have the taillight really prominently displayed. Going over the specs for the taillight, this is $45. It has 200 lumen maximum output, which is quite bright. Has up to 50-hour runtime with one of the flash modes. Also has a dual LED design, which is quite cool. So you have this front LED and also what they call a tracer LED that splashes light downward for up to 360-degree visibility. They also pack a lot of technology in here. It has both a brake sensor and an ambient light sensor. Now what you get in the box is the taillight itself, which is a pretty compact unit. You get a micro USB charging cable, which is pretty standard these days. You have a seat post mount. As you can see, it has a simple quarter turn design and a rubber strap that feels quite robust. They also include a saddle rail mount as well, which is really nice. So a little plastic piece, dual-sided, and that simply locks into your saddle rails. They also include 2 zip ties, which I assume is to secure the saddle rail for a little extra security. I don't have the warranty card or instruction card, but that would be included in the box. So now let's take a look at the weight of the taillight. So the Seemee 200 by itself is 40 grams. Then we have the seat post mount that comes in at 12 grams. Then we have the saddle rail mount, which is a pretty thin piece of plastic, and that comes in at only 4 grams. So now let's take a closer look at the fit and finish of the Seemee 200 taillight. As I mentioned, this is the brightest version of Magicshine's latest Seemee products, and it's really cool to see them add so much technology and design to their latest taillights. If you use the Seemee 60 before, you can see this is quite a departure in terms of the form factor. If anything, this reminds you a lot of a Bontrager RT taillight. It has a very square profile with a large LED on front. What's unique about the Seemee 200 though is they've also complemented that single LED with this little ring around here. They describe this as a transparent optical fiber, and it looks like it has secondary LEDs all the way around. So this gives a really nice uniform glow to ensure you stay visible. Also, what's really unique about this light is that bottom LED. You can see that here. It has a spherical lens that really throws the light downward onto the ground to ensure you really stay visible from up to 360-degree visibility. Now, one thing I was worried about is when you first take a look at this taillight is where's the side visibility. But you can sort of see here, it's actually transparent. And you can see when I turn it on, that whole front is actually transparent. So pretty good side visibility. And then you can see here with that bottom tracer LED, it really ensures you stay visible. The other really cool thing about this is they finally added a battery status checker. So you can simply click on the button when it's off, and for 3 seconds it'll illuminate green, red, or flashing red to indicate the battery state. So it's really nice. So before you ride, you can actually make sure you have enough battery. Now let's take a look at the mounting options with the Seemee lights. What I have here is the seat post mount as well as the saddle rail mount. To install the saddle rail mount, you simply place it between the saddle rails, and I believe these have to be round rails, so other rails might not work. And then you apply some pressure and you hear that nice click and it's in place. So it feels really secure and it can be slid back and forth slightly. This will interfere with saddle bags or other accessories you might have on here, such as a fender. Now, if we take the Seemee 200 as an example, we do a simple quarter turn for the seat post mount, and you can see really secure, easy rubber straps to remove it and install it. And then for the saddle rail mount, same quarter turn, and it gives you a nice higher placement, especially if you don't have saddle bag. I think it looks a little better as it tucks in underneath your saddle. So now let's take a look at the full lineup of Seemee taillights and compare that to other taillights on the market. What I have here is the Seemee 200. It has the dual LED design, one on the bottom, one on the front, $45. Next we have the Seemee 180 at $40, has a large cob LED design on front. Then you have the Seemee 100 with a slightly lower output and a very similar form factor at $35. And finally the $17 Seemee 30, which is much thinner and lighter than the others. What's really cool about this is that all of the Seemees now have ambient light sensors, and that gives you that smart light output mode to automatically adjust to the conditions or power that secondary LED on or off. You get the brake sensor and everything but the Seemee 30. Now form factor wise, you can see a rectangular design with the 180, 100, and the 30. And this is quite a departure from the previous Seemee. So I have a Seemee 60 here, and you can see this is very different. It has a polished outer ring to it and a cob LED design. And compared to the other ones, it looks like quite a bit of an outlier. The Seemee 60 does have the brake sensor, but no ambient light sensor. Now starting with the Seemee 200, this reminds me a lot of the Bontrager RT, and you can see when you put them side by side, they're quite similar. The Magicshine Seemee 200 is a little bit taller, and that's likely due to the fact that it has the secondary sensor as well. The Bontrager only has an ambient light sensor and no brake sensor, so a little bit smaller. The Bontrager does have Bluetooth connectivity, which lets you connect to a computer to monitor the output, battery, and also turn it on or off automatically, which is a nice feature. However, it is more expensive at $60, so I think the Seemee 200 is a really nice high-tech feature at a pretty good price at $40. Also, that dual LED design is quite unique and something I haven't really seen before with these kind of taillights. Now, if you look at the Seemee 180, 100, they're both quite similar, except lower output, and then the differences in prices. They both have the same light output modes, obviously different run times, and they both have brake sensor and then the the ambient light sensor as well. They all have this nice transparent body as well. So you can see, even though it almost looks dark, you can kind of tell here the front is transparent, and same thing here, this whole shell, the body is transparent. So very similar. These remind me a lot of the Topeak Aero taillight. So you can see a rectangular body. It's more compact, while the Topeak has a more flared design. I do like the fact that the Topeak has a transparent body, so when you turn this on, you can see it really lights up the whole thing compared to the Magicshine. But you do get pretty good visibility with the side visibility with the Magicshine's transparent body. It is a little bit thinner, and the fact that you can run this on both Aero and non-Aero C-posts is a really nice feature. The Seemee 30 is a little bit of an outlier from the product line. At $17, it's thinner. Does not have the brake sensor, but it does have the ambient light sensor and the same light mode options. Now let's take a look at the Seemee 200 on the road. As you can see here, even in daytime with flash mode enabled, it is very bright. And with the brake sensor enabled, it actually triggers pretty well when you come to deceleration. However, like with other Seemee taillights, we did find that the brake sensor calibration is very sensitive. So you can see here, as you go over bumps or potholes, it will trigger, and that reduces the overall runtime. It's also cool to point out how the taillight works at night. That tracer LED really illuminates a red circle around you for a really cool effect. Now we'll go over all 8 different modes of the Seemee 200. I'm listing both the runtime at day and night. The difference is at night you have a lower runtime due to that tracer LED being activated. There are quite a few flash modes here. I really like the breathe mode. It has this nice gradual pulsing, as well as a comet, which really draws attention. There's also something called interactive, and it's not so obvious on camera, but it actually illuminates the inner and outer LEDs independently. Smart mode is another really cool feature that uses the light sensor to automatically switch between a normal flash that goes on off to a night flash. Here's a little montage of all the flashes together. As I mentioned, there's quite a few options, and it's pretty cool that Magicshine has integrated so many modes into the taillight. Now let's go over the pros and cons of the Seemee 200. I really like the dual LED design. That tracer LED is a really unique feature to this taillight and really draws attention at night. Also, the integrated motion and brake sensors are really nice features, especially at the $45 price. Also, you have really high output. It's almost too bright, honestly, with the 200 boost mode. And you have a lot of modes, and if anything, you have probably too many flash modes here. Some of the cons are the integrated battery. This is non-replaceable. That would be a really nice feature to see more in taillights. Also, as with other Seemee lights, the brake sensor is quite sensitive, so we often found the taillight would be dead on longer rides due to being triggered so many times. However, you can disable the brake sensor. That's something we've definitely done on our taillights. Also, the second LED reduces the nighttime run times by quite a bit. If anything, that second LED is probably a little too bright. Taking everything into account, I would give the Seemee 200 a 9.3 out of 10. It's a really smart taillight with a lot of great features. It's great to see Magicshine integrate so many smart technologies as well as a dual LED design in such a compact form factor. Thanks for watching this review. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us at our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at The Sweet Cyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist, reminding you to enjoy the ride.